Hello everyone and welcome to Edusurg Clinics. I am Dr. Gunjan Desai and today we are going to complete our discussion on acute appendicitis, and this is going to be a collection of all the concepts that we have learned in the previous videos and then how to manage the various types of appendicitis that you will see in your practice. So let us see a quick recap. We have already seen the clinical assessment. This was a separate video, biochemical testing, various scoring systems. We have seen how the negative predictive value of the scoring system is very high. So all the low probability you can exclude appendicitis, then do a stepwise imaging, which was step 3 and 4, ultrasound if required, then a CT or MRI, and if still inconclusive, you do a laparoscopy. So this is a stepwise workup. Now we are going to see the various management options based on the type of appendicitis. And this is the AAST grading. This also we have seen in one of the videos. Grade 1 is uncomplicated appendicitis, and this is the only area where the non-operative management is being considered currently. For all complicated cases, the management is basically surgery or Osner-Sharon followed by surgery. So coming to management options, like I said, antibiotics alone is recommended only in grade 1 of AAST, that is uncomplicated appendicitis. The patient should not have an abscess, phlegmon, perforation, or an appendicular on imaging. Now, as we will see some data on antibiotics alone, appendicular on imaging is not an absolute contraindication, but we have seen that the failure of non-operative management is very high when there is an appendicular on imaging. Upfront surgery is basically in grade 2 to 5 other than the lump. So all cases of complicated appendicitis. Exception to this is the appendicular lump. As we discussed, there are two possibilities in appendicular lump. One is a phlegmonous case, which is also seen sometimes in Crohn's disease. The other is abscess. If it's an abscess, it needs antibiotics with or without percutaneous drainage. If it's phlegmonous, the first step is antibiotics. If it proceeds to abscess, that is failure of Osner-Sharon regime, may need drainage and SOS surgery. In cases with appendicular lump, Osner-Sharon regime is something that is routinely used to manage these cases. The points include nil by mouth, IV fluids and IV antibiotics, analgesia, antacids, pain scale, pulse, blood pressure, fever, size of lump, and intake output charting. Remember, this charting is very important. Often the only sign is the rising pulse rate. Okay. So rising pulse rate, increasing pain, decrease in blood pressure, recurrent fevers of high grade, increase in size of the lump, and drop in urine output. All these measures mean that the Osner-Sharon regimen is failing to manage the patient. Last option is in special populations, and we will see each of them in brief. That is children, pregnancy, and greater than 50 years age group, as each of them have some specific challenges. So these are some of the management options. We will see some points in each of them. Going to antibiotic alone, the biggest study is CODA collaborative trial. Population was CT confirmed uncomplicated acute appendicitis, but like I said, this study included those with an appendicular. Antibiotic first strategy was IV antibiotic followed by oral compared with immediate appendicectomy. Remember that 29% of this group needed surgery at 90 days, and this increased to 41% if an appendicolite was present. So the outcome was that an appendicolite increased failure and complication rate. Some people have tried endoscopy to remove the appendicolite, but a simpler option is removing the appendix by laparoscopy. Another trial was APEC-2 trial, which studied role of oral versus intravenous antibiotics. So one group where there was only oral antibiotic, other group where there was IV followed by oral antibiotics. The outcomes were more or less similar. However, remember that even in this, the 3-year success rate was only 65%. What that means is that nearly 35 to 37% of patients needed surgery even in this group. And remember that these are grade 1 appendicitis, which are difficult to find in actual practice. So non-inferiority was reached when it comes to oral versus IV oral combination. So oral antibiotics can also be used in grade 1 appendicitis, risk factor being the appendicular. Now coming to management options, once you have a diagnosis of acute appendicitis, like I said, uncomplicated appendicitis and no fecolit, this is the only group where you can do non-operative management. For all other cases, other than the lump, so lump is not something that you manage with immediate surgery. All other cases need an appendicectomy. Even in uncomplicated appendicitis with a fecolid, appendicectomy is the treatment of choice. Now remember that when you are managing these patients conservatively, there is a risk of malignancy, which is 2.4% if there is no abscess and nearly 14.3% if there is an abscess, especially in patients who are more than 40 to 50 years of age. So when we are doing non-operative management in this age group or in pregnant patients, remember the risk of malignancy, and these patients need workup even if they settle on non-operative management. So coming to appendicular lump, as we have already discussed, is basically appendix, omentum, and bowel stuck to each other with or without pus. So it can be phlegmon or it can be abscess. Management is the Osner-Sharon regimen we have already discussed. If the patient improves in 3 to 4 days, we still recommend interval appendicectomy after 4 to 6 weeks. If the patient deteriorates, like I said, the most common sign is increase in tachycardia. Other is increasing fever or pain or size of lump. These patients may be progressing to appendicular abscess. You will need a percutaneous drainage at least or an open or laparoscopic drainage. Remember that at this point, tackling the appendix is not the part of routine guidelines. The aim is only to drain the infection, the focus of sepsis, and then do an interval appendicectomy once the patient improves after 4 to 6 weeks of the attack. Open surgery incisions, commonly asked question in these days in current area, laparoscopic appendicectomy has become the gold standard, but open surgery is required in cases where there is failure of laparoscopy or there is a lot of bleeding or there is a lump that you cannot tackle laparoscopically or there is a risk of malignancy or a patient on dual blood thinners that you cannot stop. Old patient where laparoscopy will not be tolerated, like patients with COPD. All these cases are where open surgery is still required. We have already seen this diagram. This is the McBurney's point, lateral 1/3 and medial 2/3 between umbilicus and anterior superior iliac spine. This is the gridiron incision, which is perpendicular to this line. Then you have the Rutherford-Morrison extension, which is lateral. You can have a midline incision or a paramedian incision. You can have a large incision, which is on the mid-clavicular line, roughly 2 centimeters below the umbilicus. You can have a Rocky Davis incision, which is horizontal incision placed at the McBurney point, and you can have a Fowler-Ware extension, which is the medial extension of a MacArthur, McBurney, or gridiron incision. So these are the incisions. You can remember this diagram. All of these can be used for an appendicectomy. Like I said, midline, paramedian, lens. You have the Rocky Davis. Then you have the MacArthur, McBurney or gridiron, which is the most commonly used. This is the Rutherford Morrison extension, muscle cutting. This is Fowler-Ware extension of the MacArthur or gridiron incision. Now coming to the special category, appendicitis in children, we have already discussed the presentation is often vague. Diarrhea in children can also suggest appendicitis. Examination is difficult. Like I had told before, there is a pediatric appendicitis score which you can use for diagnosis. Ultrasound is the first imaging test that you should do Second line is MRI or a repeat ultrasound or a low dose CT, that is low IV contrast dose CT scan. Remember that in children, the risk of perforation is higher. Treatment is laparoscopic appendicectomy. Non-operative option is again used in uncomplicated, that is grade 1 cases, but nearly 30% require appendicectomy within 1 year. Coming to appendicitis in pregnancy, it is the most common non-obstetric surgical emergency. Incidence is similar to non-pregnant women, lowest in third trimester, and then it rebounds in incidence in the postpartum period. There are higher chances of perforation, preterm labor, and fetal loss up to 6% if appendicitis occurs in pregnancy. Imaging is ultrasound and then MRI if required. You can do a CT in second trimester, but usually we don't prefer that. Non-operative management is only for an appendicular abscess. For all other cases, laparoscopic appendicectomy. In third trimester, you may need an open appendicectomy. So if we look at the ERAS guidelines in this specific patient population, it recommends appendicectomy for all cases. So that is something that you can remember. Coming in appendicitis in elderly, we have already discussed that the signs can be blunted and presentation can be non-specific. Liberal use of contrast enhanced CT and colonoscopy, especially in the interval period, not when there is acute appendicitis, because this group has a high risk of malignancy. So especially when the patient has an atypical presentation, a history of complicated appendicitis, appendiceal mass, or unexplained anemia, this is a specific age group where you need a contrast enhanced CT plus a colonoscopy before going in for surgery. Treatment in this group is also laparoscopic appendicectomy. So that is in all the management, the various options that use in treating appendicitis. It is very important that you understand the scoring system. We still follow the Alvarado, but add CRP as your scoring marker. If CRP is more than 50, most of the groups consider it as a high risk for complications. Then look at your imaging protocols. We do ultrasound in all cases, CT when ultrasound is inconclusive, MRI in the select population that we discussed. Management options as of now, the very small subset of uncomplicated patients is the only group when there is no fecolip that you can attempt non-operative management. So I hope that covers your entire discussion on the topic of appendicitis, applied anatomy of appendix, a lot of signs, symptoms, triads, syndromes that we have seen. Have a look at this series, and I'm sure this will help you in your exams as well as your practice. Thank you.